In the summer of 1518, a woman stepped into the street outside her home and started to dance. No music, no party, no reason anyone could see. She didn't stop that night. She didn't stop the next day. Within a month, 400 people in the same city were dancing exactly like her, some of them, according to the records, until it killed them. This isn't a metaphor. This isn't folklore that got exaggerated over the centuries. City records, physicians' notes, and cathedral archives all say it happened. Today, we're going to figure out why. Strasbourg, 1518. Back then, it was part of the Holy Roman Empire. Today, it's in France. It was a wealthy, crowded trading city of about 20,000 people sitting right on the Rhine. But underneath the trade and the cathedral spires, the city was under enormous pressure. A string of brutal harvest failures had left food scarce. Smallpox and syphilis were spreading through the population. And just 1 year earlier, a monk named Martin Luther had nailed his objections to the Catholic Church to a door in Wittenberg. Splitting the religious world, Strasbourg's citizens had built their entire lives around. Stressed, hungry, and afraid doesn't begin to cover it. That's the mood in the city on July 14th, 1518. That's the day a woman named Frau Trophea walked into a narrow street near her home and began to dance. Not gracefully. Contemporary accounts describe convulsive, jerking movements, nothing like a celebration. Her husband begged her to stop. Neighbors gathered and pleaded with her. She kept going for hours, then she kept going the next day, and the day after that. By the end of the week, she'd been dancing on and off for nearly 6 days straight, until she collapsed from pure exhaustion. If that was the whole story, it would just be a strange medical case. It's what happened next that turned it into one of the strangest events in European history. Within days, more people joined her. By the end of the first week, 34 dancers. By August, contemporary chronicles put the number at around 400 people, dancing uncontrollably through the streets and the market square at the same time. Eyewitnesses described thrashing arms, vacant expressions, dancers with blood pooling in their swollen feet. Some cried out for help mid-dance, unable to make their bodies stop. And here's the detail that makes this genuinely eerie. Nobody organized this. There was no music playing when it started, no festival, no reason 400 people should have been moving in unison. They just were. Here's where the story gets almost impossible to believe, but it's exactly what the city records show. Strasbourg's physicians examined the dancers and ruled out demonic possession. Their diagnosis, hot blood, an excess of internal heat that had to be danced out of the body. So the city's official medical solution was to make the dancing worse. Authorities built a wooden stage in the grain market. They hired professional musicians. They even brought in strongmen to keep exhausted dancers upright and moving, believing that if the dancers just kept going, the fever would eventually burn itself out. It did not work. The music and the crowds of onlookers seem to have pulled in even more dancers. Historians still argue about exactly how many people died. Some contemporary accounts claim the outbreak was killing as many as 15 people a day at its peak, mostly from heart attacks, strokes, and sheer exhaustion. Desperate and out of medical options, the city eventually gave up on dancing it out and reversed course completely, banning public music and dancing and marching the afflicted to a shrine dedicated to Saint Vitus, the patron saint associated in folklore with a dancing curse. And then, almost as strangely as it began, it stopped. By early September, the dancing had faded out. Strasbourg's chroniclers went back to writing about trade and taxes. The event was never fully explained, and it happened in full view of an entire city. So what actually caused it? The most popular modern theory blames the bread. Rye grain, when it gets damp, can grow a fungus called ergot, the same mold that produces compounds chemically related to LSD. Ergot poisoning is real, and it does cause convulsions and hallucinations. It's a genuinely compelling theory. But medical historian John Waller, who has studied the Strasbourg case more closely than almost anyone, argues it doesn't hold up. Ergot poisoning also restricts blood flow to the extremities, which causes gangrene, not days of continuous dancing. Someone poisoned badly enough to hallucinate would be in no physical state to move like that for a week straight. So if it wasn't the bread, what was it? Waller's own theory is stranger, in a way, than poison. He argues this was a genuine case of mass psychogenic illness, what's sometimes called mass hysteria. Strasbourg's population was already living under extreme, sustained psychological stress, famine, disease, religious upheaval, and crucially, they shared a real cultural belief that Saint Vitus could curse a person with an uncontrollable urge to dance. Waller's theory is that in people already pushed to a breaking point, that shared belief gave their bodies a specific, culturally scripted way to express unbearable stress. And because everyone recognized the symptoms, the behavior spread from person to person just by witnessing it. It's not that they were faking it. Their bodies were, in a very real sense, involuntarily acting out a nightmare their whole city already believed in. Strasbourg wasn't even a one-off. Historians have documented more than 10 similar dancing plagues along the Rhine and Moselle rivers going back to 1374. Strasbourg's is just the one we know the most about because so many eyewitness accounts happen to survive. Nearly 500 years later, with modern medicine, psychology, and toxicology all available to look back at it, historians still don't fully agree on what happened in that market square. Which might be the strangest part of this whole story. An entire city danced together for weeks, in public, on the historical record, and we still can't say, with total certainty, why. That's Quirk Lore. New videos every week uncovering the strangest facts and untold stories from history, science, and the unexplained. The kind of thing that makes you say, wait, that's real? Subscribe if you want the next one.